Moving to the next question. The question is, what is the difference between tab hidden and removing object read permission from profile? Which one is more restrictive? So we need to talk about tab hidden feature and compare it with the object read permission in terms of which one is more restrictive. So let's go to the profile to find the answer. So when I go to the profile we created, and here for account object, I can see there is something called tab setting, which is default on. Okay. Now, if I edit this profile, I can see I have two more option available, which is tab hidden, default off. So what is this and how does it work? So let us understand. So it starts with the object permission. If you take away the read access, okay, then doesn't matter what is the tab setting, default on, default off, or tab hidden, doesn't matter. Your tab cannot be visible. So if I save this, where I have taken away the read permission from the account object, and if I go to my user and refresh the interface in the app launcher, doesn't matter which app I go to, I won't see account tab over here. Okay, even if I go to opportunities, and here if I create a new opportunity, okay, and opportunity has a lookup to account, but I do not see that lookup field over here. Why? Because on the account object I do not have even the read permission, and same is with the contact. For contact also there is a lookup to the account, okay, but since I do not have the read permission on the account object, I won't see that lookup field. So once you take away the read permission from the profile, there is no way you can access the tab or you can access any feature of it. Although there are permission sets which can grant on top of it, but we will talk about it later. We are not talking about permission set at this point. So now going back to the profile, we understand that tab settings will play its role at least once you have the read access to the object. So once you take away the read access, nothing is visible. Tab settings has no role to play. So this becomes the most restrictive permission. Once you take away the read permission, user is blocked entirely. Let's give all the permissions to this object and talk about the tab settings. So default on, what it does. When it is default on, then tabs would be, this particular tab would be visible to the user when they go to certain apps. So for example, now if I go to the service app, I can see the accounts. Why? Because in this particular app, this particular tab is added, and at my profile level, this is for this particular object, it is default on. So I can see this tab. Now in the other scenario could be that if I go to the profile and add it and switch it to tab hidden and come back and refresh. Now if I search for account in the app launcher, I won't be able to see it because the tab is hidden. Even here, if I switch to classic, I know the changes won't be immediately reflected here, but if I switch to classic and look at the service, I do not see the account tab any further. Why? Because I have hide the tab. That is why I don't see it. Okay. And if I go to sales, even there I won't be able to see it. Now if I take it back to from tab hidden, if I take it back to default on and I refresh, this is when I can see the account tab, and I can see it now in the service as well, right? Now there is the third option which comes, which is default off. So when I go and switch from default on to default off, even in this scenario, the tab would be hidden. So if I refresh, the account tab is gone. But the thing is that if I want to add it, I can add it from here. So I can go and click on customize tab and add from here. Okay. So that option is still available when you go to default off. That is the only difference. So when you go to default off, you cannot see it by default. You have to manually enable it. So once I manually enable it, I can see the accounts tab. But if I make it tab hidden, let's say I again change it from default off to tab hidden. Now this is when even I have added manually, it won't be visible because I'm not giving any tab access to that particular object. One thing which is important to note is that the tab setting is not basically having any effect on the record level visibility. If there is an account record visible to you, it would remain visible even if the tab is hidden, default off, default on, doesn't matter. Okay, so to answer the question, we have understood what is default on, we have what is default off, what is tab hidden, and what is no read access, and what is the impact of no object read access. And we have also understood that the tab visibility has no decision factor on the record visibility. Okay, with this, let us move to the next question on profiles.